The objection is this: God is ever living. How can God die? If you say, well, he died as a man, they'll say, well, hold on. If he died as a man, then how can a man atone for the sins of the world? Isn't that why you say God had to become man? You understand the objection? Okay, now let me explain to you. You do not answer a question like Benny the bullshit and embarrass yourself, so they'll say that you're full of bull. What you do is, what do you mean by death? Why can't God die? Listen to me carefully. I learned this long ago. I don't commit to an answer without asking questions. What do you mean? The people who tell you, how can God die, are defining death to mean cessation of life, ceasing to exist. So in reality, what they're saying is, how can God cease to exist? How can God stop existing? Because if he's no longer existing, who's running the universe? That's the argument. You don't answer the question without first asking for clarification. What do you mean, how can God die? And usually you're going to hear them saying, who was running the universe when he died? Because they're assuming that means ceasing to exist. Do you understand now? Ceasing to exist. Do you get it? This is where they're wrong. This is where they're wrong. You tell them, who told you death means ceasing to exist? Neither the Bible nor the Quran define death as cessation of life, cessation of conscious existence. How do I know? Let me show you what the Quran says. Here. The Quran agrees. Death is not cessation of life. Death is not ceasing to exist. Here, chapter 2, verse 154. Chapter 2, verse 154. This is how you answer the Muslim, but even those from the Bible, I'll show you the answer. And say not of those slain in God's way, they are dead. Rather, they are living, but you are not aware. So right there, someone killed is still alive. Being killed doesn't mean you cease to exist. And I'm going to show you, this is the biblical definition. Chapter 3, verse 169, 170 of the Quran. Count not those who were slain in God's way as dead, but rather living with their Lord. So the Quran says those who are killed, they're not dead, they're alive. Well, I say, well, that's the Quran. What does the Bible say? Well, I'll get there. Take it.